Bridenstine.
Well, I would like to thank the gentlewoman from Missouri, Ms. Hartzler, for all your hard work on these issues. As a point of maybe disagreement, I'm no longer in the Navy Reserve. I joined the Oklahoma National Guard, and I'll be flying with the Oklahoma Air National Guard. But thank you for hosting this special order, and I would like folks to understand really what my friend from Missouri just said. The President of the United States vetoed the defense authorization because he wants more spending for other domestic programs. This is unprecedented, and quite frankly, it is scary for this country. I am still dumbfounded by it, that you're going to hold defense hostage for a domestic agenda. We don't do that in the United States of America. This president somehow doesn't understand that you don't take the defense of this country hostage for a domestic agenda. And yet that's what he has just done. I want to share with my colleagues why we do an authorization every year. Because the world changes. Things get more dangerous year after year after year. We as a Navy pilot and now as a National Guard pilot, we utilize space. I'm on the Strategic Forces Subcommittee on the Armed Services Committee. We hear all kinds of things about space, and I can tell you as somebody who has used it, we use space for over-the-horizon communications with our space-based communication architecture. We use it for weather so that we can make sure we can get to the target on time. We use it for intelligence. We use it for missile warning. We use it for a whole host, position, navigation, timing, our GPS satellites for actually hitting our targets. The space is critical. And yet something has changed drastically in the last few years. The Russians have been launching various things that were not registered with the International Telecommunications Organization or Union, the ITU. And what are we discovering that these objects are doing? Well, they're doing very sophisticated co-orbital maneuvers, demonstrating that they can do proximity and rendezvous operations, which means, guess what? Ultimately, that could be an anti-satellite capability. Friends, if we lose our satellites, we could have even more risk. Imagine your ATM not working. Imagine the food in the grocery store not being there when you go shopping. National security in this country is critically important, and the President is holding it hostage for a different domestic agenda that has absolutely nothing to do with national security. This is absolute craziness. So what did we do in the NDAA? We plussed up spending on space protection, which is critically important. And not only plus up spending on space protection, but we provided authorities, critically necessary authorities, so the Department of Defense can actually protect this country in ways that it hasn't had the opportunity to do so before. For our communications architecture, we're doing Pathfinder programs, and we're purchasing communications in space in ways that we have never done it before. Why? Because we need to distribute the architecture so it complicates the targeting solution for our enemies. We're not doing this because it's fun or because we like it. We're doing it because it's critical for national security. And when the President of the United States vetoes it, it puts all of us in jeopardy. I want to be clear. This is about the troops. There is no doubt about that. But when we're talking about somebody's ATM working, this is about the security of the United States of America. And the President is holding it hostage for a domestic agenda. When it comes to the troops, just a few items. We talk about the authorities in the NDAA. Well, those of us who have served understand that there are special pays that we receive. Combat pay, hazardous duty pay. There are bonuses for re-enlistments. Flight pay for those of us who fly. There are pays that are going to be at jeopardy now that otherwise wouldn't be at jeopardy. And by the way, a lot of these pays are for people who are right now serving this country overseas. Do we not understand that, Mr. President? I should say, Mr. Speaker, the President should understand that. And this is a monumentous day in American history, and not for good reasons, for tragic reasons. And I would like to thank my colleague from Missouri for hosting this special orders and giving somebody like me and all these colleagues behind me the opportunity to make sure that America understands what is at stake here. Your leadership on these issues is critical, and America is in jeopardy, and we need to understand what happened today is not the norm. It must not be the norm, and future presidents must never hold hostage American national security for a domestic agenda. With that, I yield back, and I'd like to thank the gentlewoman from Missouri.